welcome seniors and distinguished guests today. I'm Mr. Stewart. I worked here for 30 years, was principal. We got a little thing called the Eagle family going, and I'm blessed that it's still true today and still here. And I'm also, I wear a little different hat too. I'm also on the Davis County School Board now. And I know there's a kind of a big football game tonight. And as a school board member, I have to kind of show some impartiality, but you got to remember that. So I've got some blue on and I've got some red on, but you got to remember it's the Eagle family. So I'm going to show a little something right there. Okay. Had to pull that sweater out this morning. About a month ago, I was here with you, and we had Jeff Jones, who was a class of 78, and we did that down at the gym, and I was glad to have him. He was here with another occasion. First, before I introduce Dr. Mark Lynn, I do want to mention the foundation. Vicki Quisenberry, Jen Fogel are here today. The foundation is why all this happens. We honor a distinguished alumni each year, one from Apollo and one from Davis County. So, and then we honor them tonight with a reception and before the game. Dr. Mark Lynn graduated from Apollo in 1977. He was very involved in the band. I believe he was drum major. Excellent student. On the tennis team, his coach, Bob Smith, a good friend of mine, is down there today. I'm glad to see Bob here. He was on the tennis team, went to Murray State University from 77 to 81, and then the Southern College of Optometry, and got his MD in 1985. Started at a place called Vision World in 1985, purchased the practice in 1998. There are currently 91 locations in 6 states in what's now called Vision Works. Again, 91 locations, 6 states, and I think 180 physicians that currently work under his direction. Dr. Lynn is very noted for his community involvement, and I don't want to, it's so many of them, but a couple I will mention. He was on the University of Louisville Board of Trustees. He also was Kentucky State Fair Board Chairman, and I was trying to think back, and I can only think of 1 or 2 other people in Owensboro who ever received that honor. Also, Dr. Lynn and his wife Cindy have been very generous with their time and resources. Anybody here a soccer player? Soccer player? There we go. If you go to University of Louisville and look at their beautiful soccer stadium, you will see that it's named after Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn, the soccer stadium is. Also here locally, he's very involved with the Daniel Patino Foundation. But in talking to Mark and to Dr. Lynn over the last 4 to 6 months on the phone, it's become very evident to me that with all his success, he gets the most excitement about talking about his family, about his high school sweetheart, Cindy, who graduated from here in '78, his 4 children, and believe it or not, his 15 grandchildren. So let's give a big Eagle family welcome to Dr. Mark Lynn.
Good morning, everybody. How are y'all? So everybody great? Well, I want to thank the foundation for this award. In my career, I've received several awards over time. And this one is a, pardon my voice, I'm fighting a little Kentucky crud thing going on. But anyway, this one is very, very special because it comes from the people who were there when you started. What this award means is that somewhere along your walk in life, somewhere along your journey, you've made a couple of good decisions. You've done something right, but you've only done that because you were able to listen and learn as you went. And you know, it's a really big honor for me, and it means a lot more than I can ever really tell you about. The best part for you guys is that you get out of class for about an hour and you don't have to take a test. So I get it. It's just sort of the way things work. Now, high school for me started actually in 7th grade. And we go way back to when you guys can't think, even dream about. Back in 1971, I actually started the first year Burns Middle School opened. And they invited me to come play on the Apollo High School varsity tennis team. So I started playing varsity tennis in 7th grade. I lettered in tennis for 6 years and never repeated a grade. That's pretty cool. But don't get too excited. It wasn't because it was that good. Remember, the school was just getting started back then. They needed me because we didn't have enough players to actually field the team. So they had to come get me or we couldn't play a lot of them. But it was a lot of fun. And you know, you're a seventh grader. Heck, I got to ride around with the seniors. This was cool. So when I first came to Apollo, I don't know how many of you guys have seen the old pictures, but when you walk in and you went down one of the circles, all it was a big circle. You just had open classrooms. Our walls were the little dividers on wheels. And so you walk in and you're sitting in your class, and we had Billy Ray Cartwright, who is the comedian of comedian teachers, who I adore greatly. He's a great man, good teacher. But he's cracking jokes over here trying to teach math. You've got a movie going on over here, and you're trying to take a test in the middle. And everything's in this big, wide open room. It'd be just like having 4 classes going on right now. But what you learn during that is that you learn to focus. You learn to concentrate. You learn to be able to ignore and put everything on the outside that you didn't need. You got to learn to put it away. And I'll tell you what, that has stuck with me even through today. I could be sitting in meetings, have multiple conversations going on, I can still focus on what we need to be doing and what needs to be happening. The ability to focus is something you've really got to learn. But why did I become an optometrist? Well, again, that is really all Apollo's fault. Apollo did it. 9th grade, when I was started here, we had a career day. And I chose to go spend my day, because you got a day out of class, no test, great day. Got a day out of class, got to go see Dr. Homer Ward, local optometrist here in town. And I went and sat with Dr. Ward, and at that point, it was obvious. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an optometrist, that was it. My career choice was made. It was easy for me, it just clicked. Now, how can anybody sit there and say in 9th grade you knew what you wanted to do? I don't know, but I did. That was it, that's where I was heading, that's where the goal was. Now at Apollo, we had a number of great teachers. Even Mr. Stewart was okay. So I never had him, but they told me he was okay. No, you know, we had a lot of good teachers. And you're going to think back through all the teachers you've had, and you know, sometimes your teachers, they make you feel really stupid, and sometimes they make you feel really small, and sometimes they also make you feel really proud, and then they make you feel content. All of these are lessons that when you look back, and you look back at this over time, you're going to see that all of these were foundations being laid for you. Now, you probably don't realize it right now, but as years go by and you turn around and you come backwards and you look and see and judge the influence that these guys had upon you, a greater respect for teachers you always gather. I don't know anybody out there that would not say we've got the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Doctors get all the credit, teachers do all the work. And so we need to really swap that out as time goes by. Teachers should be getting paid what they deserve. They should be held accountable like everybody else, of course, but they are laying the groundwork and the foundation for what everybody does. So don't forget to actually say thank you every now and then. The other thing you're going to realize is that you're going to look back and you're going to realize that your mom and dad and grandparents, they're not near as dumb as you think they are. As you get older, you realize they weren't quite that stupid. They did have some good things to say. And you really need to really pay attention a little bit more if you can. It's hard. I know it, but it's hard. Pay attention to them. Best part about high school, Mr. Stewart said it, meeting my now wife. We started dating when I was a sophomore in high school. She refuses to let me tell you anything about that because I'd have a lot more fun with it than she'd let me. You know, it was good for us. We got to do a lot of things together, got to be together. Finally graduated high school, went to Murray State University. Now, why did I go to Murray State University? Great school. Had a lot of fun there. Good time. But I went there because that's where I had the most scholarships from, plain and simple. I grew up just like you guys, or like most of you anyway. I had a mom and dad. Dad was a cop for the railroad. Mom managed a Goodwill store downtown. We didn't have a lot of extra stuff going on. We had all we needed. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we were okay. But there wasn't a lot of extra. So I went to school on that great thing called student loans. And every year we go back to the bank, and every year we get further in debt. But that's what you did. That's how it works. That's how it operates. And we just kept going. I knew that I wanted to go to optometry school. I've known that for a long time. So at Murray, I actually got my basics out of the way, was trying to work on those, was doing my pre-optometry work because you have to have certain classes to qualify for the schools. But then I had to decide, well, what if I don't get in? What if I get to optometry school and flunk out? What if I can't make it? What if I hate it after I get there? So what's plan B? What are we going to do to have a job if all I've done is focus on one thing? So in my infinite wisdom, I majored in engineering, physics, computer science. To me, that was easy. That's good stuff. Matter of fact, I even traded, you guys know English 101's the one where you read a lot, English 102's where you write a lot, and they're both basic, simple classes. Well, I traded a 600 level physics course for English 102 because that was easier for me to deal with. It's just the way my brain works. So, you got to go where your strengths are. But again, we finished Murray. I'm applying to get into optometry schools. 4 years of student loans at Murray. Great. So now I finally get accepted to Southern College of Optometry in Memphis in 1981. How are we going there? More student loans. Good part there is that school back then was only about $184 a quarter hour, so it didn't cost but about 40 grand a year to go. So it was great. Also, when we got there, not only did we have a ton of bills, but we had 2 kids. So my wife's working full-time while I'm going through school, taking care of 2 kids. I'm going to school full-time, working as close to full-time as I can get, and we're making our way through school. And you know what? We look back at those days, and it was probably some of the best days we've ever had. So we were working together for a goal, doing what we had to do to get through. Finally made it out of optometry school in 1985. Life was good. Now all of a sudden reality smacks you in the face. You got to go find one of those nasty jobs. So you got to go look. Well, in 1985, the going rate for an optometrist was only about 25 grand a year. Now, you could earn more, but the guaranteed rate was 25,000. Well, with all my student loans, with 2 kids, everything we had to have, and being able to afford some type of place to live besides my mother-in-law's house, because that's where we were, is I had to have a job paying at least 40 grand a year. So 40 grand a year, it doesn't sound like a lot by today's standard, but back then, that's a lot of money. And I went for interviews, and anybody that talked to me from Brownsville, Texas to Northern Ohio, any place I could go find, I was traveling to find something somewhere that would work. Couldn't find anything. We were really struggling, didn't know what we were going to do. Finally, ran into a guy who said, well, we can put your loans off for 8 more years. We can delay your payments. All you have to do is sign up for the Air Force. Went to the recruiter, talked to the recruiter. We signed up for the Air Force, everything except the oath. I went through the physical, we went through all the paperwork, because once you take the oath, you're committed, you're done. Everything else to that point is almost there. We had put this off as long as humanly possible. We're actually at my mother-in-law's house here in Owensboro on a Monday morning. I've got to drive to Nashville to go take the oath. We have movers scheduled to come to her house to pick up all of our stuff on Thursday of that week. I'm going to be a captain in the Air Force in Biloxi, Mississippi. We have a 4-bedroom house set aside for us. We're ready to go. It's over. We're going to be in the Air Force. I go to get in the car. About the time I'm shutting the door, my wife Cindy's yelling at me at the front door that, hey, the guys from Louisville, the group you interviewed with, they're on the phone. Now think about this. This is before cell phones. This is before anything, really. Once you left, you left. Another 5 or 10 seconds, and I'd been down the road, and none of what has happened in my life happened. I went in, got on the phone. It was the guys from Louisville saying, hey, we're going to give you what you want if you can start immediately. And I said, well, is this afternoon soon enough? And they said, yes, so we worked it out. But you stop and think about that. Literally another 5 seconds, and my whole life, our whole life, everything would have been completely different. So when you look back, sometimes you just got to believe there's a little higher power out there sort of directing things for you. Have a little faith. So I started with a group called Bisers in Louisville. It's a big optometric practice. I had 8 optometrists in one building. I'd been there a couple months, and the managers of the practice came to us and said, hey, we're looking for somebody to take care of every complaint that walks in the door. Whether they have, it's on their glasses, their bill, they just don't like the smell of the building, it didn't matter. Bathroom's dirty. We want somebody to take care of everything that happens. Of course, my first question was, does it pay more? Yes, it does. So guess who took the job? I said, I jumped all over it. More pay to do the same thing all day long, great. And you know what that was to me? It was the best move I've made in my entire career. Because what did it do? It taught me how to listen to patients. It taught me how to listen, period. It taught me to be able to decipher what was being said versus what was meant. It taught me that the best way to absolutely fix anybody's problem is to first understand it and listen to them. Most people, when you have a problem, really what you want, you know that maybe there's an answer, maybe you know how to fix it, but you want somebody to listen to you about it. That is a big lesson, guys. If you leave here with nothing, leave learning to listen, okay? I was in 1988, I became chief of staff for the Beiser practices. In 1992, became a minor partner because we opened some offices in Tennessee. I was the only one with a Tennessee license. So again, I was there at the right place, right time. And in 1998, I bought the practice from the Beiser family, and at that point, we had 19 locations in 3 states, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And right now, we're up to 91 locations in 6 states. There are actually 191 docs on staff, about 1,300 employees. So we did okay. You know, I look at it, it's not Ford, you know, it's not GE, but we're doing all right. We're doing fine. And I get asked by guys all the time, all these guys with their MBAs and the business philosophy guys, what's your business philosophy? What's your business principles? Well, I just assumed common sense worked, but you actually have to come up with something on paper these days. And so I stopped to think about what are the rules I govern the business by? Well, it's real simple. Rule number 1, always do what's right for the patient. Tough one. Rule number 2, always do what's right for your staff, for the people you work with. And then rule number 3 is always do what's right for the business. Now, it's sort of strange for the business owner to say rule 3 is do what's right for the business, but not really. If you think about it, if you do what's right for the business, we're going to charge more, pay our staff less, work them longer hours, make more money. It doesn't work that way. You'll be out of business soon. If you always do what's right for the staff gets paid $1,000 an hour. They only get to work 3 hours a day. They get 20 weeks of vacation a year, and you're broke before you get the bills paid. So that doesn't work. But if you do what's right for the patient first, the staff wins, the business wins, everybody wins. Now notice I said right. I did not say do what they want. I didn't say give in to them. I didn't even say do what's best, because their idea of best and yours may not match. But if you're always doing what's right, then you'll never be wrong. They may still not like it, but you won't be wrong. So it is, as you're moving through your life and what you have to do, figure out who your patients are. Figure out what you have to deal with and do what's right by that. It always comes back to you. Along the way, Mr. Stewart said that, yeah, we do have 4 kids, 15 grandkids. And I tell you, my family is exceptionally important to me. Especially the older I get, the more important they get. And I have fears like everybody else has. I don't have fear of my business. I don't have fear of confidence. I don't have fear of a lot of things that I do all day, but my greatest fear, my greatest challenge in my life is the fear of disappointing my wife, kids, or grandkids. Because that is the most important process and thing and people, whatever it is, however you want to think about it, that is what's truly important to me. And the decisions I make, they're truly made with the family in mind first. And I think that's also important for everybody today. Family gets lost. Family gets lost in the hustle and bustle and jobs and all the commitments and time. Take time for family. We're at the part of the speech now, guys, where I'm supposed to come up with the words of wisdom that get you all jumping up and down and running for the exit saying we're going to conquer the world and life is great and the super enthusiasm that all these great speech writers and speech makers have. And sorry, dude, it's just me. It's not going to happen. I got a little bit of magic, but no magic words. The true thing that you will find. Now, you can go out and read all the fancy where I love some of these, you know. Failure is not an option, but a requirement to succeed. Failure is the first of many steps to success. Read all those. Understand what they're trying to tell you. But the magic truly starts with you deciding who you are and what you want to do. Some of you in here, you want to be doctors, lawyers, farmers, mechanics, I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe you just want to be a housewife and be a mom, take care of kids. There is no harder work in life than taking care of kids. I mean, whatever it is you want to do, that's your first step to success. Figure that one out. My son stopped me one day. He's getting ready to go to college. And he was really good in computers. Loved music, really good in computers. And he said, Dad, I really should look at changing my major and go into computer science, computer programming, because, music teachers just don't make a lot. And I told him, I said, that's great. If that's what you want to do, we'll support you. But you think about it, because when you wake up every morning and you've got to go to work, are you going to be happy going to whatever that job is? Because if you're happy in the morning doing whatever it is you want to do, you've won the game. You've won it. You'll figure out how to make money. You'll figure out how to pay bills. There's always a way to do that. But be happy in your choice. Be comfortable in your choice. You go to your job, and not every day is going to be the most fun-filled day of the world. Work is still a 4-letter word. You have good days, you have bad days. But if the work that you do is what you want to be doing, then you've succeeded in life. You don't have to have 91 locations in 6 states. All that comes with what you want to turn it into. I did not go into anything I did thinking, hey, I'm going to grow all these offices, we're going to do all this is the goal. I still can't tell you where we're going to end up. We do what makes sense, we do what works, we just move forward. Why? I am extremely fortunate in the fact that I have a job I absolutely wake up in the morning and love to go to. Now, I don't like every day, but I love what I do. And that's a big deal. And that's something that if you're happy in your job, you're going to be happy in your life. So it's just something you've really got to do. Along your journey, you're going to make a lot of steps. And I know you've heard this before, but I truly, truly believe it. Leave the places you've been a little bit better than when you got there. Leave who you deal with a little bit better than when you got there. Coach Smith did not leave me very happy at the end of practice when he said, okay, we've been here 2.5 hours, now go run 5 miles. I hated every last step of it. But you know what? I respect the man, and to this day, he has helped me learn discipline and what it takes to succeed. Now, I don't know that he really knew it then. He was just making fun of the old fat guy playing tennis. But you know what, guys? There's a point to it. And you've got to, even if you're leaving things behind. We've been fortunate enough, we've been able to leave money at places, soccer stadium, other things that we work with. But even if it's just a friend to call and be there for them, even if it's just saying, hey, we care, we're here, do that. Everybody in life is going to need help at some point. Everybody. Don't be afraid to be the helper. Don't be afraid to ask. Set your plans. Also remember that as you move through life, I sat in a lot of meetings with a lot of different people. I was meeting yesterday with John Schneider, Papa John's. Trust me, guys, nobody is better than anyone else in life. Doesn't matter what you own. You're still the same person inside that you need to be. As you walk through life, as you move through your day, as you talk with your friends, everybody is just the same. Except for tonight at the football game, because County's not that good. So, got to win that one. We'll be nice to them after the game, but not before. Now, I have always been exceptionally driven to succeed. I love the next challenge. I love where the game's going to take me. And you have to be careful. When you're driven to succeed, you got to have something that keeps you centered and keeps you in focus. Well, my family does that for me. Find your focus. Find what keeps you centered. Do everything you need to do that you want to. Decide where you're coming from. Decide what you want to do. But also remember one thing. Don't be afraid of change. I run into deal with a lot of doctors. I employ a lot of doctors. Doctors are the world's worst at changing anything. They are such creatures of habit, it's disturbing. So you have to go up to them, smack them upside the head, beat them with a stick, and get them to change things. Change is good. Change is always good. You know, if you're not making dust, you're eating dust. It's real simple. Think about horses running downhill. You want to be in the front or the back? You don't want to be in the front. Same thing in life. Don't be behind. Run from the front. How do you know where you're going if you're not leading the way? So, but don't be afraid to turn right or left. Doesn't matter. Decide what you want. Go get it. No fear of change. Faith in yourself and your family. Remember others. Leave it better. It's things you hear all the time, probably from every teacher, every person you talk with. But guys, it's true. It really, really is true. And with that, that's really all I've got. I wish I had the magic words that everybody was jumping up and down for, but you know what? It's just us. It's just life. We are going to win tonight, but it's just life.